Hi, my name is Hector LaFossi. I'm the host of Breaking Through Podcast. I'm with my co-host here, Felix Cordero,
Right.
and we put this together to serve as a safe space where people can share safely about themselves, their experience, their strength, and their hope. This is about personal experience and how we're trying to work on ourselves to improve and get better, mind, body, and spirit. This is not a religious program and we do not offer advice, only suggestions and hope.
And if you have a particular topic you'd like to hear more about or would like to share your story, let us know. This is your show. Meanwhile, feel free to post your comments on the FB platforms and other platforms. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to the Breaking Through podcast. As always, we focus on people who have overcome obstacles in their lives and have persevered. Today, we are honored to have one of my friends here, Hector Mestre. He's a recording
Hey,
mix and master engineer, a music producer, a musician, and a two-time Grammy nominee. Hector Mestre, welcome.
Well,
hey, how are you, everybody? And it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. It's an honor.
it's good to have you. We finally get to meet. I heard so much about you, Felix. Really says a lot of great things about you. And we decided that, you're a perfect candidate for this because of the things that you had to overcome to get to where you're at. And I actually did a little skit the other day introducing you, and I didn't want to give too much away because I wanted people to tune in and actually hear it from you, see you live. So we're honored. We're truly honored to have you. And we
Thank
know you've been around the block.
Yeah.
thank you,
So
thank you.
I'm outnumbered here. I'm here with two Hectors, so I got to brace myself for the show. All right, but
Yeah,
Hector, would you like to tell us just a brief little introduction about yourself before we continue?
yeah, sure. I was born in Puerto Rico, right? I was born over there, raised in the music industry since very, very little. But I was born blind. Um, my mom, when she was pregnant with me, she had a high fever, so that created the stop of the the development of my eyes. And so when that happened, I, you know, that I was born blind. But there's one thing, a blessing that I was born with, and it's the good hearing. I was called into the music since a very young age. I would listen to music, and at the same time, I would feel it. And since my family was so involved in it, it just started growing in me. And then my mom, my dad started seeing that talent, and they started, I started with drums from a very early age. Little by little, my dad got me more other percussion instruments, conga, bongo, timbal, little things like that. And then at the age of 9, about to be 10, my mom and my dad divorced. So by divorcing, my mom decided to move here to the States.
Oh, wow.
And then so over here I kept with the dream of being a musician and things, everything involved music. And I kept with the drums, same instruments and stuff like that. But then when I was around 13 years old, my mom remarried to another person, which is a professional musician also. And he was a great inspiration for me because he was always there. I mean, he pushed me even further than my own biological father. He was there. He would take me to gigs. He would take me to play with him. And he was the percussionist from the group NSYNC, the boy band
Yeah.
NSYNC.
I
Yes.
think, yeah.
So while I was growing up, he always believed in me. I mean, I know him since I was very little. But when he married my mom, he took the job very serious as a stepdad. And I call him my dad because he was so much more there than my real father. And so he pushed me over to the music, and he believed in me, him together with my mom. I graduated from high school. uh, and to tell you even more, when I went to high school, I went to a high school in St. Augustine, Florida. and it was a school for the blinds, and that's where Ray Charles went to.
Oh,
Chris Marcus Robert is another pianist.
yes.
Uh, so I graduated from that school, very successful. I created some couple of music programs there. Like one of them was the recording program over there. I created that together with a couple of the other teachers, and so to teach kids to record, because I didn't only found an interest on being a musician, but then my passion turned into recording engineering. I would sit down and listen to an album, right? And I would say, well, the great thing about an album is that you can create something forever, right? When you're a musician, you play, and you go to a concert, you play,
And you're done.
you're done. You go back home, unless, and remember, this is at that time, okay? Unless you record it somehow, that's when you would keep it there forever, right? But at
Absolutely.
that time, we didn't have YouTube, you didn't have anything. So I was like, I want to be somebody that can put something together forever and make the
That makes a lot of
difference.
sense.
So and
Creates a
that's
legacy. Just like Hector right next to me, he wrote his book, and that's going to go on forever. So you guys
forever.
have a legacy. So
Yeah, you.
we're going to go jump back and forth in your story,
Oh,
but
that's
let's
fine.
go back to the past when you were a child. Was it really difficult for you since you were blind? I mean, and were you ever bullied? Because we know kids can be mean, or were you never a part of that, being bullied or anything in school or maybe outside in your area?
It's kind of different. Okay, so I went to public school until my ninth grade, right? And I'm not gonna say that I've never been tried to be bullied, right?
Yes.
But I had, at that time, my father, I was like 5 6 years old, my between my father and my brother and sister, my mom, they didn't let me get bullied. They were, you know at that time they would tell me, somebody comes and hit you, you hit back.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
fall, you get up. And that made me very strong. And so I would defend myself. I didn't look at it as being bullied. And at that time, the word bully wasn't used, so it was more like bother. So
Yes.
I didn't felt I was bullied, but there was definitely some bullying around. It's just I didn't take it as bullying, because I would defend myself, I would fight, if I had to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what was your state of mind at that age, having this handicap, this disability? What did you think? Was it a depressive state of mind? Were you beating yourself up because you were blind and you weren't like the average kids? What was that like? Your mental state of mind?
To be honest, no. Just how I said, since my mom and my family pushed me to be normal since very little, I didn't really have the time to think about being pity for myself at that time.
Mm.
So I was very social. They taught me how to be social around people, other kids, adults, and everything like that. So I personally didn't have that issue of within communication with other kids. And I think the communication and the social part helped me a lot to be normal, hanging out with other kids. So I felt pretty much normal.
Okay, yeah, because you were born, so you were accustomed already, because you were born that way. So you didn't see it as anything other than, this is who you are, and you accepted who you were, and
Yeah,
that was done.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we know how challenging that is, having to grow up with that. I mean, have you ever thought of, I wish I can see, or that never occurs to somebody that has that disability.
I do. I do. I think about it all the time. Um, it's something it doesn't bother me, right? It doesn't It's nothing that goes around my head. I wish I can see, because if I could see, I could do this, I could do that. But yeah, I think about it. I would love to do many things on my own that I can't do because I am blind. I can't just get up and go in a car and drive somewhere. You understand? I can't do that. I have to depend on people.
Mm.
Um, but and all the little things, you understand. But the main thing here is I think about it, but I don't dwell on it. I don't sit and feel bad about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a positive way to be. That's why I tell you, when I met you, I was in awe. The thing is, as a DJ, I already knew about this man here. So I've been a fan of his for a long time, guys. If you don't know who he is, he has worked with so many people. He has such an incredible ear. And we're going to go a little more into that in detail. But has there ever been a time that your blindness has put you in some type of danger, something dangerous, or something that you were afraid for your life or anything like that? Were you ever in
um
weird situations?
Man, I gotta think of something, but not that I can think of right now. Maybe if I remember something. uh
It'll pop up. If it pops up, let us.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
one thing I want to hear,
Definitely something have happened, but I
yeah.
can't think of anything right now.
It's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So one thing about you that I really admire is you don't see this as a disability or a handicap. With some people, man, they bang their toe and they can't work for 2 months and they're complaining and crying. They're some people, different things happen to them in life. But you were literally born this way, and I tell you, I admire this guy, guys. I want you guys to follow him after the show. If you're not following him, this guy does incredible stuff that people with vision they can't even do it. And he does it. This guy goes bowling. This guy, I seen him install. I think what was it? Some kind of garbage disposal under your sink. I mean, this guy's
Ah.
doing stuff he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, because I have that channel just to do different things, because I know there's a lot of channels with blind people, doing things, but I like to do like the normal things that a lot of people don't do, plugging in something, like, I don't know, dealing with electricity or lamps, and so I
Exactly. I'm looking at you and I'm scared,
yeah.
man. I'm like, what the heck? What's Hector
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah.
so what has been one of your biggest challenges in doing the things that you do? How do you do what you do? Can you give us
Well,
some kind of light on what is it you do and how you do it? It's incredible for a blind guy.
well, a big challenge, right? At least in the industry that I work on, is to be very competitive with the average sighted person, right?
Yes.
Um, I just always have to feel that, or not feel. I always have to be ready. Let's say if somebody calls me, hey Hector, so and so wants to go over to the studio, and it's somebody that I haven't met before, but it's somebody known, right? I get ready way before that person comes in, because I have to make sure that, let's say, all the cables for the microphones are in the perfect position, the microphones, the stands. I have to focus on things that I know that when that person comes in, I feel is more reliable.
Yes. You,
And
you
and
pre
it might sound simple, but you have to remember, when a person is in the recording studio, right? You look at something and you know what to do just by looking at it. I have to make sure the knob on the preamp is at the right level. Is that it's not turned down, and I am trying to figure out if the signal is going to come in or not. No, I have to figure that out before. So so I don't have any type of challenges. So at the end of the day, my challenges are making sure that I am ready for the person that is sighted, right? And I don't make that person feel a handicap with me, you know.
absolutely.
In other words, you don't want nobody feeling sorry for you either.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you
Exactly.
can do, you can handle it, and you're confident that you can handle this, and they need to trust that and not use your disability, as let me help this guy. because he may not know what he's doing, or because he can't see. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, because I can easily say, "Oh, can you tell me if the knob is over here because I need." No, that's not their job. That's my job. You understand?
Absolutely.
I need to make sure that my stuff is, in the game.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. So, and speaking about your job, I'm really familiar with a lot of DAWs, which is digital audio workstations. And
uh-huh.
I know you use Pro Tools, and those buttons are tiny. Even for me, I'm like, man, I can barely see this. How are you doing this?
On the DAW.
Yes.
Oh, because okay, so the computer talks to me wherever I put the mouse, right? So if I go over a button or something like that on the DAW, it would read me what's under it. At least 80% of the software, 80 to 85% of the software. But the other part, I can just zoom in, and not I don't see very good at all. But with the little tiny bit that I can see, I can zoom in and get my way around, the waves and stuff like that to edit. So that's how I do it. But I use a lot of commands too.
Okay, so you had to train yourself for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The other question, it might sound silly, but I'm always sending you texts. I send you flyers. Man, I send you all kinds of stuff. And then after I send, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? How's he going to see all this? For some reason, you always answer me.
Because my phone reads me everything. So if I put my finger on your text, I can answer you back, and I just reply through voice text. I can dictate to my phone. So if something sounds weird or looks weird when I write you something, it's just Siri writing something
It
weird.
happens to all of us, man. You don't have to be blind. It happens to all of us.
Yeah. So it's pretty, and iPhones are pretty blind friendly. So it works pretty good.
is it ever frustrating to you though? I mean, do you get frustrated? I'm sure there's times that you can't even figure it out because you need to have the sight.
Oh yeah, yeah, that have happened to me. Because there's, like, let's say for instance, there's applications or websites that are not blind friendly, right? You click on something, and it might read you that you can click there, right, the menu, but when you click on it, since the voiceover is on, it won't go into that certain spot where you need to go to.
Oh, yes, I understand that.
So it have happened to me many many times. So sometimes I have to turn voiceover off, and that could happen on my computer or on my phone. So I will have to go to my wife or my kids or something like that, and hey, I need to go down to here, so I need you to click on it. And that's the part where I hate to not be fully independent on.
Yes.
But I if I could do it all, I try to do up to the point that I can't do it.
Yeah, without asking for help. So let's go back a little. You said you went to a special school in St. Augustine. So were you living over there, or how did that work out?
So I stayed over there from my ninth to my 12th grade. I graduated over there. And yeah, I did stay. I would go home on Fridays, come back home in the evening, and leave back to the school on Sunday. So I would stay there all 6 days.
Wow.
And it was an amazing experience. In the beginning, was very difficult because I never was around blind people that much. So it was something I had to get used to. It was a whole different life. Everybody was like me. Usually in public school, I was the only blind kid. So it's just
Yeah, yeah. I was
getting.
into that. I was in so in public school. Prior to that, when you were in public school, was it extremely difficult for you? Challenging, like learning, or difficult because maybe somebody might play a prank on you? You never know. I'm a teacher, so I know kids are terrible sometimes.
So, man, my social life, since I was little, I was able to develop that pretty solid. You know, So I had great friends, man. I really can't tell you anything negative from that time. The only negative things is, kids would come and try to bother me, but I would defend myself. That was something that it wouldn't let me down.
Yes.
Plus, I had great friends, man. Like, my friends were always there for me, and I was able. It wasn't awkward. It was great. So definitely there was kids that would bother, but it wasn't something that I, how I said before, it wasn't something that it was, extreme.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I tell you, when I met you, you were really easy to get along with, and I tell you, within 30 seconds, I forgot you were blind, man. I forgot. It doesn't even work like that when someone's around you. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
portray yourself in that way. Like, people expect someone blind to be fumbling around, everything. You're super confident, and I love that about you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah. And it was very different the way we met each other, so it was pretty
Yes.
interesting too,
Yeah, yeah. We'll save that for another story though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But so can you tell us some of the people that you've worked with in the past, some of the famous people, and also, have you ever met someone that you were so starstruck that you were so nervous? Because I know you like to prepare yourself. Was there anyone ever a time that you were so nervous that you're like, man, I don't think I could do this?
No, not really. I don't like to sound cocky, but not really, because I just, how I said, I really got ready. What I um it was more my it was all the way around, right? I felt so happy when somebody came, right? That I would only dream of when I was younger. And now I have that person here in the studio, and I just worked for that person. It
Yes.
was more, I took it more like a dream and like an accomplishment. But I wasn't, that never happened to me to feel with that nervousness, feeling nervous like that. I didn't feel like that, but definitely it was more like impressed. I think that would be the right word. I
Yeah.
was more impressed than nervous or starstruck.
And I'm really impressed with you. Would you like to tell us at least some of the names you've worked with, or maybe that you're gonna work with soon?
Yeah, I work with. I am Tito Nieves, full-time engineer. So everything that you hear from him and you have heard from him for the last, 12, 13 years, I have done his albums, and anything that he has done, I have worked on.
Excuse me.
I
Is he listening now?
No, but probably he will soon.
He's gonna listen to it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Tito.
So yeah. So Tito Nieve, I've worked with Gilberto Santa Rosa. He's come here to the studio. Jose Alberto El Canario. Uh, I've worked with Ronald Borja. He's a very famous Venezuelan singer. He was the lead singer for a group called Waco.
Yes,
Great,
I know.
amazing group. Yeah, he was the lead singer from there. And I also worked with the original singer from that group from back in the 80s. So Amilcar Boscan is another Venezuelan singer. Producers, I've worked with Sergio George. He's come here to my studio. I worked with Diego Galé, Ramon Sanchez, and many others. I mean, I have worked Domingo Quiñones. I don't know if you guys know Domingo
Oh, yeah,
Quiñones.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Domingo Quiñones. And I just have a Tito and Daniela Dalcour, they just won a prize over in Colombia for a song that I mixed and mastered and recorded here also. This was just this past week. They won that prize. I forgot the name of the prize, but it was something song awards over there in Colombia. So I've worked with many people sometimes that I forget, but many amazing singers that when I was little I would just dream of. Like, what it is to be listening to a Gilbertito Santa Rosa, Tito Nieve, and it's like, oh man, that sounds so good. Or Sergio George when he started making DLG and Mark Anthony and all these people. I also did Mark Anthony's father's album too. So I have plenty of work under my belt, with a lot of great known people.
Absolutely. And I tell you guys, you probably rock to his songs, you dance to them, you sing it. And this guy right here, he's the one creating this music and engineering it, putting it all together for you. So
Yeah.
a lot of times you're the behind the scene guy. So basically, people don't even realize how much fun and how much happiness you bring into their lives. But you're the behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's so amazing too? I have gone to to clubs, right, or to restaurants, and they literally play something I have done, and it feels good. And uh, but when my son graduated from 8th grade, right, we at that time we have hired a DJ, and it just happened that like 2 or 3 songs that he played throughout the whole night, they were all different songs that I worked, that I mixed. So it's like, it's amazing that you hear your job being done, and that you did that job and you listen to it somewhere else, and wow, that sounds good. I really
It's a
did.
it's a
Good
great.
job, and I love it. Yeah.
I play your tracks just about every show I do, man.
Oh
Seriously,
man,
in
that's
every event I do.
amazing.
So let me ask you something. I know your studio is it a home studio? I know it's a full blown studio. I've seen the videos and everything. But is it for private people only, or can anyone rent it?
I don't rent out the studio per se. If somebody wants to record something, I would have to be in the studio. I would have to be the engineer, and I privately, I would choose. I'm very critical with the people that I work with, so they would have to, call me, and I have to see what it is. I just don't let anybody in the studio just like that. But definitely, people can reach out to me, and we can get something up and going. If something, comes out of that. You know, but I don't rent out the studio to just anybody just like that to come in and them being the engineers and all that stuff. I really don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to build
Can
that
we come
trust.
by one time and hang out with you there?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
We come by and hang out with you?
What do you mean? If somebody can just come and hang out, you mean?
No, us, Felix.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, man.
Yeah,
We
I'm
got to
finding
do
out
something.
already.
Yeah,
We're gonna do some work together.
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Of course. That
So
sounds great.
we talked about my book, and we know that you have a disability. You were interested in hearing the story, and you wanted to know more. But tell us how you're going to read my book. How is it that you're going to do this? If I gave you my book,
So, technology has gotten very advanced for the blind, right? So, uh, back in the days, we had to depend on people reading to us, but now technology got so advanced, so that there's devices now that us blind people can depend on, instead of depending on people that could read to us. So I have a device here that goes connected to the glasses, right? And I can take it out, plug it in, I put the glasses on, and then if I want to read a book, I can put the book in front of me, take a picture with the machine or with the device, right? And it would read me the whole page. Or if I want a certain summary, if I want the device to give me a summary of what the page is saying, I can tell it, say, Orcam, can you give me a summary of the page? And it would give me a summary.
That's
So,
amazing.
or if I know what part of the page I wanted to read, I can just put my finger on it, take my finger out, and Orcam would read directly from that area.
Wow.
So technology has gotten really far away for us, the blind people, the blind community. So it's a pretty small device. It doesn't weigh that much. I put it on, and it looks like a USB or Bluetooth device. So it's pretty cool, and it's very helpful.
is it accurate?
Pretty accurate. Yeah, it is. It is pretty accurate. It can read to me dollars. It can tell me colors. I can do face recognition, so I program my wives and my kids' faces, so when they're passing by me, it can tell me who they are.
What about curse words? Does it tell you to curse as well?
Oh yeah, it would read me everything.
And what is the name of that again, Hector?
It's called Orcam My Eye.
Or can I? Is that some type of AI technology?
It is not AI. It is not AI. It's not a smart device. Everything is pre-programmed to what it's supposed to do.
Oh,
You can, add things to it, like face recognition. But what makes it accurate is that it's a very focused device onto what it's supposed to do, like reading and recognizing things. But it's not a smart device in that area that that it learns features and things like that. You have to teach it.
yeah. And I tell you, something that you guys both don't know is I'm colorblind. And
Oh yeah.
I can see clearly, but I just can't tell colors. I don't even think Hector knew
Oh.
that. So when
No,
I
I
was
didn't
in
know that.
school, probably in second grade, that's when we started realizing. But this, I'm old man. So back then they didn't even know what that was. So they used to tell me to color the bear brown, and if that crayon didn't have the name of it, I would probably color it blue, purple. I didn't know. So teachers thought I
Oh.
was dumb as hell, man. But
Wow.
later on during the year, we found out I was colorblind. So I have difficulty seeing not every color, but if you put a blue and a purple and a brown and a black together, I can't see. I can't tell them apart.
So does that explain why we couldn't hook up the green screen?
Yes, we were trying to hook up the green screen today, and I'm colorblind, so I'm trying to figure out as best I could. I have to, it's difficult for me, but it's nothing compared to you, man. I mean, you're amazing. Where can we reach you at? Where can people find you at?
Well, you can follow me in Instagram. So it's Hector Mestre, Hector underscore Mestre. You can follow me in Facebook, which is Hector Mestre also, or YouTube. Everything is under Hector Mestre. So you put Hector Mestre, you should be able to find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. But I have two YouTube channels. So my second channel that I have on YouTube is a blind spot pro.
Blind Spot
So
Pro.
yeah, so there, I do things, with my kids, that are, things that have to do with being blind, playing games with my kids blind, doing everything that maybe a blind person doesn't think about doing, and I'll do it there, um so I have the professional channel that has to do with the music. So that's Hector Mestre. That's everything that has to do with the recording studio, behind the scenes, me working, songs I have worked on, and all that stuff. And there's a couple of people that I have worked on there that comes out, like Tito Nieves, Gilberto Santa Rosa. I have that stuff in that channel. But
Absolutely.
the Blind Spot Pro, that's the one that I show things that has to do with me being blind.
Yeah, I've been following you on both, so I'm really familiar with them. You guys got to check him out on both his YouTube channels. This guy's amazing, I tell you. But
Thank
Hector, I tell you, man, I love you, man. I'm really proud of you.
thank you, man.
I'm older than you, but I'm really inspired by you.
Oh
And
wow, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm younger than you. So, it's been very inspirational. When we think of these handicaps and disabilities, we always go into, some type of funk or feel sorry for the person. We want to be of assistance sometimes. And it's just the natural nature of the human being to
Absolutely.
want to assist somebody, right? But in your case, you're so independent, and I don't know if it offends you that somebody will try to help you, but nevertheless, people will try to do that. But
Yeah.
we're just so happy that you're so independent. You seem like relatively very happy. And then when I look at that, right, it's like, man, I know people that are healthy, that have their sights, that have a lot going for them, and they're just so miserable.
They feel sorry for themselves.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're miserable. They're stuck in a funk, and it's like sometimes people, we got to look at our blessings.
Oh yeah.
We're gifted. We're made in God's image.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know what? We all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's not about being stuck and being held down for whatever handicap you may have, whatever disability you may have. You got this, Hector Mestre over here has proven to overcome that, and that challenges we face in our lives can be overcome with determination and will. And you just have to have the mindset for that. So we're really happy that you joined our show. Uh, again, I like to develop a relationship with you. We're
Yes, of course.
we're gonna get my book to you, and then
Yes,
we're gonna keep a dialogue between us.
exact. I'm gonna hand deliver it myself to you, brother.
All right. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for being such a ray of sunshine. You're the
Oh, thank
epitome
you.
of positivity, man. It's
Abs-
Oh, thank you.
keep your
Thank you.
life shining like that. You inspire me. I tell you, I'm happy for the rest of the day now. I'm thinking
Uh,
about you. I love you, man.
and
oh man, love you too, man. And it's nice meeting you, Hector. and it's a pleasure to spend this time with you guys. And I know there's so much more we can always share and say. So
Absolutely.
you guys are more than welcome to contact me again, and we could do this as many times as you want. For me, it's a pleasure, and I guess bringing a great testimony out there is to push people forward, because a handicap is only on the mind. You understand? It's not
I love
it's not on the physical aspect of things. You know. So yeah, I am very blessed, and I praise God every day that He has given me the life that I have had. And and to that I add, my wife and kids, that they have been amazing in so many ways. They you know if you see my wife and kids, we do things that are normal. My wife is not like, oh, you can't do that. No, Hector, we got to get the grass cut, and if the guys are not here, I'll cut the grass outside. You understand? So
You don't have it easy, bro. You get it just like the rest of us.
yeah. So I love that with my wife, because my wife doesn't make me feel handicapped, neither my kids. you know and I always find myself. And you know what, talking about challenges, let me mention this before we leave. And I just thought about this when you guys asked about challenges. And I think the biggest challenge in my life has been make, make, making my kids feel that their father is normal, and not putting my handicap on the way. And what do I mean about that? If my kids have to do something, I make sure I can do that too. And if I can do, I let them know. But I try my the best to be there for them. I taught my kids how to ride bikes, how to ride roller skates, rollerblades. Uh, you know, so I try the best to be there for my kids the more normal possible. And if I can't do it, they know that I could do everything else. So it's just, handicap is always on the mind, how I said, not on the physical realm. And I can understand somebody feeling handicapped body wise, but you can overcome anything.
It's amazing. And I'm sure that they're very proud of you and you're inspiring them because if you can do it, I'm sure they believe I can do it and I have no excuse.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And here, folks, the excuses are done with. Uh,
yeah,
some people just don't want to hear those excuses, especially when we see people that have real challenges. So be uplifted and
yeah,
stay positive.
And I love that quote. I love the quote that the handicap is only in the mind, not in the physical. I love that.
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, Hector, once again, thank you. We've come to the end of our show. Be sure to join us next week, Saturday at
Yes,
1 p.m. And you can follow us on all our links.
But primarily on Facebook. That's what we're working a lot out of, just to keep it real simple. So, lastly, we believe that God gave us freedom of choice and that every person makes the decision to choose their own path.
hmm
Make healthy choices and live your life to your fullest potential because we all have a purpose. And so, I like to close with a quote from my book, and it says, You can't add days You can't add days to your life, but you can add life to your days. Thank you all for tuning in. And remember, we are spiritual beings having human experiences. Put your higher power first, and all will be well. Thank you, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Hector.
Hector.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you. Thank you.
Talk.
It's a pleasure.
everyone. We'll see you next
Thank you.
week.
See you next
All
week.
right. Take
Something,
care. Bye.
and I'll announce that on Friday. All right, guys. Goodbye. See you.